a professor of cultural studies and humanities at Columbia College Chicago, where I direct the cultural studies program. And I've been visiting Fulbright professor here at the Institute for American Studies and Polish Diaspora at the Jagiellonian University this year. And I've been teaching some of my courses here.
I'm professor of communication at Northern Illinois University, where I teach courses on web design and programming and philosophy of technology. And I accompanied Anne on this trip of hers to Krakow to write books and do some lecturing.
Well, the TAS program isn't kidding when they say that this is maybe one of the best places to study in the world. That's why I wanted a Fulbright to the Jagiellonian in Krakow, because it's just an extraordinary city. It's got so much history. So every day you're with students, with tourists from all over the world as well, in this incredibly beautiful place with over 1,000 years of architecture and art and music and cuisine, and you have this extraordinary history all around you every single day, and it's unmatched. It's just a beautiful place to study.
Really interested in is exploring cities, and I'm from Chicago, which is a very large city and a very American city. And for me, what was really interesting about Krakow is it's a smaller city, yet it has a lot of the amenities that I like about larger cities like Chicago. But for me, when I'm in Chicago, if I'm going to go somewhere, I have to give myself an hour to get there because it's so big in terms of distance. In Krakow, everything is so very close, and it is really a very easy city to live in, and it's very easy to get around. It's very easy to meet people and have conversations in cafes and restaurants. So it's the kind of place that's very conducive to a kind of very social engagement with people beyond what happens in the classroom, and what you do outside the classroom matters just as much as what happens in the classroom.
Well, I think that my classes were such an enriching experience for me as a teacher, because one of the advantages of being here in the Institute was that my students were from all over the world. The courses were in English, that's my native language, and so the things we were talking about, which have to do with globalization, corporations, transnational relationships, commerce, politics, culture, all these things meant something completely different in a room with students from Afghanistan, Iran, South Africa, the United States, Holland, Australia. I mean, this changed everything, and I think the learning experience is one of a kind because of that mix of students. I think that I would compare them first by saying that the pace of life is still somewhat different between Poland and the US, and I find it favorable in Poland because I think that although it's going away with the globalization and the commercialization, there is still a sensibility that people can take a moment and sit in a cafe in the afternoon and have a conversation with somebody, have some tea or have a coffee somewhere. And I think that this kind of very European kind of sense of relaxation still belongs at the heart of this culture, and that doesn't exist that much in America. Everybody's on the go, eating a meal in a car, and that's not true here. People still, believe that meals should take time and are special, and I think that's a beautiful aspect of the culture, and I love living here because I taught another course called Philosophical Issues in American Film. And this is a course, also a cultural studies course, that combined texts of American film history with philosophical texts so that we could investigate how cultural mythologies are created via this medium of film. And we specifically focused on how American nationalist mythologies are created through the history of American film. And so again there, we would read primary texts from philosophers to think about basic core issues in modernity, postmodernity, questions of justice, questions of truth and knowledge, basic philosophical questions, so we would have that primary background, and then bring them to bear on important moments in the history of American film.
One was on the practice of mashup and remixing, which is a now widespread digital media practice in audio, literature, video, even in digital media with data. We focused mainly in that lecture on mashup in audio and talked about the practice of taking one song and stripping off the lyrics and adding new lyrics on top of the music that was there, and about this as a practice of sort of artistic intervention, sort of using old things to create new things, and looked at how that challenges certain ideas of originality, certain ideas of artistry, and inevitably certain ideas about ownership and copyright and intellectual property.
Yes, and that is, not only has been really like a dream come true being for a semester at this institute, at the Jagiellonian, but when the tourist board calls it Magical Krakow, they're not kidding. It is a magical environment. You know, I'm sitting in my classes with smart people from all around the globe, and I'm looking out the window at the largest medieval square in Europe, and I feel like, how did I land in this postcard? It's an amazing, beautiful place to be, and it truly is a magical experience.
All right, well, thank you very much for taking your time and meeting with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.